Good morning. Welcome to another groundbreaking, riveting, awesome, exciting episode of Force for Growth Live. I'm
Yeah.
Ricardo.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Courtney, and happy Monday. We do our word of the week on Monday, and we have an exciting one. But we want to tell you about it first. So, we select our word of the week each Monday on our 6 a.m. calls by pulling a stick by Do 52 that is stamped with the verb, a cute little set they have. And Do 52 is a simple but powerful toolkit designed by House of Shine to prompt us weekly to do things mindfully and open ourselves to new ideas. And this week, our word is look, which Ricardo has it up there, and Michelle has our definition.
Yes, the definition, there are quite a few, and we had really cool conversations this morning on our 6 a.m. call. But to make sure or take care that something is done, to ascertain by the use of one's eyes, and I'm going to do some sub definitions, to exercise the power of vision upon, which I love in the personal growth space, to search for, to expect or anticipate, to have in mind as an end, and then to express by the eyes or facial expression, so to look like something, or to have an appearance that befits or accords with, to exercise the power of vision. That's one that I like because that's
a good one.
Can have different meanings. To
Very
direct
melodic.
to direct one's attention, or to direct the eyes, to have the appearance or likelihood of being, to have a specified outlook, another good personal growth one, to gaze in wonder or surprise, to show a tendency. Lots of definitions for the word look.
A lot going on there. Did y'all notice I had to move my cup around because I didn't like the way that it looked?
It looked.
I didn't like the appearance on it.
Yeah. it went very deep this morning, just a preview to our conversation that we might reference, but just very basically, what are we looking for? What are you looking for? Like, do you even know? That's okay if you don't, but figure it out, So this one was a very vast subject, but.
What are we looking through? Oh, here's one. We talk about looking forward, right? The opposite of forward is backward. But if you say to yourself, looking backward, it feels wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Negative energy.
But we spend so much time looking backwards.
Mm-hmm. We don't even say the whole sentence. We just say looking back. Like we don't even finish the word. And I wonder if that's because it has a negative energy attached to it. We just abbreviate that.
Sometimes we're scared to look backwards. Sometimes we're scared to look back because we don't want to see what might be lurking in the deep hollows, shadows, and the deep forest of our subconscious mind.
Yes.
But sometimes it doesn't hurt to take a peek. It's not like Medusa where you look and you turn into stone.
Thank goodness.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I like we talked a little bit about awareness, which is something that I think is so important, is just being aware. My favorite quote, be where your feet are, but be aware, look at what's going on around you, what's going on in your mind, just that awareness. That's how I've overcome anxiety. That's how to me, I think that's the first place to start when you want to change something is awareness. So look at the situation, look at what you want to change about it, look at how it makes you feel, all of those things.
Mm-hmm. And real quick, Lydia LZ, I love that. LZ. Okay.
That's a great name.
That is a fabulous name. Either way, she says, I need to do more looking back. That is correct. You look back, but you don't live there. You don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
You look back to see what you could learn from your past and your experiences, but you don't want to live there. You don't want to dwell on it. And you want to just as easily turn around and look forward, just as easy as you were able to turn around to look back. Thank you, Lydia.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
This is.
So,
Yeah. This one dove deep for me this morning. I feel like I'm in an emotional puddle, but in a good way, because by being where my feet are, by keeping my awareness with you guys this morning when I wanted to get distracted and kind of veer off or change the subject, I was able to recognize a pattern that holds me back in a lot more areas than I thought it did. So I was aware of a part of it, but discovering a whole new level, and I'm not even going to be naive and say I've discovered it all, but just kind of crossing to a new level of understanding. Um, it's a freedom feeling, but I'm still wrapping my head around it, and I got to sit with this one a few days, but it's very empowering. So just kind of exactly what you said, Ricardo. It's not anything to be terrified of, even though that's what we feel like. And our body's like, no, like stop, change subject, this. And I'm thankful that I allowed the conversation to go a lot deeper this morning. That
Are you willing to
helped.
look deep enough? Courtney looked deep this morning.
Yeah.
Are you willing to go deep? Maybe you don't have to look forwards or backwards. Maybe you need to look deeper.
To me, too, with the conversation we had with you, Courtney, this morning, is the way you looked at it. So your perspective.
Ooh.
So perspective is a good look word, but the way that you looked at it, you went deep, and it brought up some emotion, but you looked at it as a learning experience and not as something negative, not as something to be afraid of. So your perspective, the way you looked at it, I think was great and awesome.
Really
Thank you
good.
for that clarity. Yeah, I
Comment
feel
below. Comment below. Let us know what sparks the threads of spark from a. Oh shoot! I forgot what we called this. I don't remember. Look in the description. Threads from a thought, from a simple word. Was that it? Yeah.
Threads of thought.
Yeah, threads from a thought, from a simple word.
There we
Look,
go.
what does spark up for you? So here's one that is happening in real time, which this is one of the reasons I love these live videos and live recordings. I'm looking at a bird in my tree, and he's flapping around like he's trying to do something there, and it's a pretty big bird. And I'm looking over there, but I'm not looking over here. So, are you looking where you should be?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Or do you get distracted easily? Let's go back to Lydia. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't mind thinking about the bad stuff, but I know I need to own my whole story. It is real. It is real, and it is me.
That brings it. Another thing that we talked about this morning is that authenticity. So when she says it is real and it is me, sometimes that the journey that I'm on right now is trying to make my outside world look like what I feel like on the inside. And we kind of got a little bit deep with that this morning, because sometimes there's that gap, like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. There's a gap between who you're being on the outside and who you are on the inside. And at first we talked about closing that gap by making who, if you're portraying a certain persona on the outside, but that's not really who you are, sometimes you want to bring the inside to match the outside. But at the same time, if there's a reason the outside doesn't match the inside, like, be who you really are. Do you need to change the outside? That might have been totally confusing, but it's just closing that gap. So what you look like on the outside or to the outside world matches what you truly feel, who you truly are on the inside. Mine was, sorry, I will just be quick. Mine has been kind of, it flip-flopped. So I've worked on me, and I love who I am on the inside now. And I feel light and shine, like House of Shine. Yes. But my outside didn't reflect that. And so I'm on a mission now to change what my outside environment looks like. I want it to match what's on the inside now.
I think one of the things that came to mind is that a lot of people do it backwards. They try to make their outside look fabulous and fantastic and sparkly and all of this other stuff, while the inside is just blah.
Yeah.
And then they are like, well, if I feel good on the outside, by default, I'll feel good on the inside, which is true to a certain extent, but not totally 100% true,
Yeah.
right? You have to
Yeah.
feel it. You have
Yeah.
to feel it.
And it's this illusion that thinking that we should be happy all the time naturally, or that we should sparkle all the time when we're around other people, and it just knock down your expectations. Yes, you want your average to be happy and fulfilled, but you also need to build up your tools for when you get down or you have a bad day, how to get right back to it, which takes work, which you might not feel like doing. So it's like to get to the other side. I feel like that's where the illusion falls a lot of the time. I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of folks who do have it, quote unquote, figured out, make it look like it's easy and like it's nothing, and they don't share their tools with the world, or they don't share their story with the world. And then folks on the other side might see it as that comes natural to them. Well, it doesn't come natural to me, so I guess something's wrong with me, and it's not. It's just learning the tools so that when that job pops up in your life, you can pull it out of your toolbox, say, hey, I know what to do with that, or I know something that can help me with this. Because it's not about making things easier, which is what we look for constantly, is how can I make this easy? How can I make this easier? When life is just about maybe being better, so things are easier. Like maybe we're overcomplicating it by looking to, the metaphor, we're straining our eyes because we're looking for all these detailed ways to be perfect. And it's just like, breathe. Whoa, what do you want? You don't have to be perfect. What, I forget who said it lately, but done is the new perfect, or done. I feel like we're all kind of taking that deep lesson and actually learning it. And that just, who said you have to be perfect?
Nobody. And the
No.
easy solution isn't always the best solution.
Right.
Just because it's easy and you're like, ooh, that's what it is. Wait a second.
And more often than not, you're sacrificing something later. It'll cost you more later. I think the most common term is interest, but like that happens in all other ways too. Maybe it'll just be more physical work later that you'll have to clean up the mess.
Let's see here. Mr. John Nelson. Thank you for tuning in, John.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. If your eyes are considered to be the window to our souls, think about how significant our focus or look really is. Where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that in, John.
Why do I feel like James Earl Jones sometimes when I read stuff?
We gotta think of a better comparison.
I'm like, why am I reading like this? Why do I sound like I do especially when I hear myself back? Like, Luke,
you do
I am
have
your
a radio
father.
voice. You do have a
Yeah.
I hear
welcome
that.
to smooth jazz.
I hear that. Thank you for tuning in. We're just 95.3 Smooth Jazz with Ricardo. Oh, but that is true, John.
I think that's cool. To me, you can almost always see in people's eyes, like the eyes are the window to the soul. You can always see, pain and suffering, or happiness and joy and peace by just looking at someone's eyes. I think that's so true. But where your focus goes, energy flows.
You got to look.
And I don't know if it was from a certain event or some random YouTube clip, but Tony Robbins saying, he was giving many examples of how you can pace yourself with the other person. That's not the right word. Tune yourself in with someone else. And he was talking about if you look someone in the eye and breathe at their same pace, you will feel exactly what they're feeling.
Yeah,
exactly. And he gives some other examples with lovers that are a little bit more intense, but it's just like very much like, but think about it. You can align your energy and just like kind of be in the same space with someone by looking at them.
Yeah.
Modeling.
Yeah.
You model their breathing. You model their cadence of their breath. You model how they sit, the posture, all that. Eventually, you start to feel what they feel.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, think about when you were a baby. We used to do that naturally when we were babies to our mom. Like, however she was breathing, we would breathe the same way.
And training
that's just a natural human.
It's interesting that you brought up when we were babies, because I just pulled this up to read on my phone in my quiet time after our call this morning. This came up. It says, your reasoning capacity will come later, but reasoning is not how we see. We see like children, and when we try to be wise, we see nothing. And
Ooh,
I thought it's deep, but it was really cool considering our word of the week is look, and we had just gotten off this long conversation about the word look. But
Yeah.
you brought up when we're babies, like if we, and even Courtney with, your realization this morning, it's like if you can go back to seeing things like a child does, a child doesn't have all the conditioning. And so if we can see things like children, if we can look at things like a child would, then we see more truth, I think, and get rid of all the, grown up clutter in our brains.
Yeah.
wow.
And just to allow yourself to like go back and like with your wisdom and experience you have now, and like go back and just talk to yourself at that age. Like just to allow that, like that. I mean, that's what I did in front of you guys this morning where I was like, oh, but it can lead to big realizations, kind of like a butterfly effect, that just like in an instant you can change the meaning of so many things. And Tony Robbins really goes into depth about that entire philosophy, but it's just allow yourself to look at it. It's that simple. And when you do that, you're directing your energy to it, where your energy glow, your focus goes, your energy go, it'll just continually point out if you could stay open to it. Stay open to it. That's where I'll leave
Kind
that.
of
I know I'm a little fluttering and mumbling, but I'll stop.
The evolution of your story. So Joan gave us a great example this morning where this was her, she's the story she told herself at age 7. And then at age 15, it had evolved into this, it evolves over time. So she brought up the thought of, what do you want to say to yourself as an adult now? But if you go look at, the story you told yourself regarding a specific situation at age 7, at age 15, at age 25, and now, how do you want that to evolve? Which really, again, goes right in line, Courtney, with your realization this morning. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
how do I want to look at this now?
And look at it from all the different perspectives at those levels of growth and where you were in that time and space.
And how it's still a pattern you're repeating that, and not that we're going to go into what all the story is, but like it just, the pattern that although it's this area of your life, you might be repeating that pattern over here, and that is withholding you from success, withholding you from whatever, love, I don't know, and just stopping that. But it's just a pattern you won't look at over here. So that's why I urge you, it's okay to look at it. It's conditioned you more than you know, and just by looking at it dissolves a lot. It starts the process of dissolving a lot of it.
Yeah.
And circling back to what Bobby Cassio said, see beyond the obvious.
Yes.
And everything that was just said, look beyond the obvious, see beyond the obvious.
Read between the lines with yourself.
Yeah, that's where the answers are. I challenge you all to look beyond the obvious. Let's see here. Stephanie. I think choosing our perspective is so important, but something we can easily forget to do because it can be hard.
Yes. Very.
Very hard.
Yeah.
And very complicated.
And it's a tool, like Courtney talked about, having those tools in your toolbox. That gets easier to do with practice. So every time you do it, it's easier the next time, but it takes a long time, especially like I'm 49 years old. I've got 49 years of conditioning. And so you can't just change that. And all of a sudden learn to change your perspective in an instant. It takes practice and doing it over and
And
over again.
patience.
Yeah.
It takes
Yep.
patience.
And grace with yourself. Like you're
Yes.
still going to slip up. So just know that's why you have a toolbox in the first place. So you can gracefully get yourself back there, not beat yourself up because you're human and you're,
Yep.
showing signs of conditioning. Just gracefully, how can you guide yourself? And then eventually your average changes. It's
Yes.
different.
And look where you are compared to where you were.
Yeah.
Give
Honestly,
yourself credit.
from a fresh perspective, give yourself some credit. You're not in the same place that you were yesterday.
I think that's something we don't do near
Not
often
even
enough.
in the same place where we were this morning.
Right.
Hello.
But if
Like,
you take a good hard look at where you are today versus where you were a year ago, I think journaling is important because that helps you to be able to really do that. And every time I do, I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, I've changed a lot in the last year. And you don't really realize it's like a little kid growing. When you see them every day, you don't see that growth. But when you don't see someone for a long time, it's like, wow, do that with yourself.
And like Elsie says, I'm going to just call her Elsie because she's the record. So like Elsie says, it takes intention. Takes intention. Let's see here. Bobby Cassio, always remember there is more than one tool in your box to complete the mission.
Yes.
Yes.
Several tools.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stephanie, the fact that we are even thinking about thinking differently is progress.
Yes.
That is so true.
That is so true.
Because if you're not even thinking about thinking, you're stuck.
How much are you actually thinking?
You're not really thinking very much. This was a great conversation. Such a fun word of the week. Look, and I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm keep on looking at the prompt here on our screen that says look, and I just want to take a little white marker and draw some eyeballs.
I know, I do too.
I'm like, I just want to draw some eyeballs there and a smile face and maybe a little nose.
That'd be cool if they had a way for us to slowly, like with eyeballs, make it pop up on the screen. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Final thoughts, Courtney. The word look.
Just, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? Just, I'm kind of speechless after what they walked me through this morning. And I think the longer I talk, the more I just don't make sense today. But just look at it. You can just guide yourself to a breakthrough. It doesn't have to happen right now. It just can be a step forward by having conversation that feels uncomfortable. It's okay. You're not going to fall apart. Your brain's not going to fall out. So it's just allow yourself to look at it in that way, and it might empower you. So
nice. Michelle Martini, final thoughts.
I just think I'm going to go back to awareness. Like, look around, look at what feedback you're getting, look at what it means, pay attention, because that just awareness, it's the first step to change anything that you want to change. So if there's change you want, or even awareness of the things that you don't want to change, to have gratitude for.
Yes.
So look, pay attention.
Yeah. And for me, September 14th, we got about 3 months left in the year. Look at what you're looking at for the rest of the year. Where is your focus going? What are you looking at? While you're scrolling through Facebook, where are you stopping? Are you stopping on good stuff like our podcast? Or are you stopping at some nonsense stuff that someone's trying to say? Like, look at what you're looking at and pay attention to how that makes you feel. And look at the stuff that you want to look at that makes you feel good, instead of the stuff that's like, especially from now to the end of the year.
Yeah, especially now.
It's fixing to get like, I'm not going to go whatever, but if y'all think it's bad now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to like make up a study that they found that engaging in any political
correct
debate on social media leaves you feeling worse. Okay. Yeah. Let's just chalk it up to that. So just keep scrolling.
And if you just want to get off of Facebook, make sure you visit forthwithgrowth.com and subscribe to the audio version of this, or see us on YouTube. Just because you're not on Facebook doesn't mean that you can't catch us.
Yes.
What a great plug that was.
Yeah, that's great.
That was brilliant,
And
man.
look
Wow.
at our scrolling banner at the bottom.
Yeah, look at the scrolling banner. Baskets
Look
for
at
Good,
that.
November 21st. Make sure you visit basketsforgood.org, and we'll be talking about that more in the weeks to come.
Yes.
Guys, this was fabulous. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and share and like. Spread the word, spread positivity, spread love, whether it's by sharing our show or sharing just content that inspires you and makes you feel good, like the sign on the back of Courtney's head over her shoulder that says one simple word: love.
Yes.
Love.
Love. Why do I feel like Jerry Springer? What did he used to say? Love yourself and love others. That was such a Jerry Springer thing to say.
Yeah. Sign off his final thought.
Yeah, my final thought. Have a great day, everybody. Make sure you visit forceforgrowth.com, subscribe to the podcast, and we look forward to seeing you. Oh, there's the eyeballs.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay. Stephanie did it. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.